Automotive News has just announced its 100 leading women in the automotive industry for 2015. Stay tuned for remarks from 4 of this year's honorees.
It's important to take that step, any step, forwards, sideways, backwards, as in my case, and it's just like crawling on a jungle gym. So continue to have that power. So I'm going to talk a little bit about what Toyota does to help promote women's development and our pathways going forward. Basically, as most of you already know, the manufacturing industry is facing a huge problem with the workforce. You know, she quoted earlier 2 million. I heard almost up to 3.5 million career jobs that are going to be needed in the next 10 years. Because I'm on the cusp of the baby boomers, but we're going to retire at some point. We need people to come up and take that next role. So we have to develop those leaders right now. You know, in many of our customer base, you know, women make over 50% of the buying decisions, for the most part, on the cars, and 80% influencing decisions when cars are bought. So we need the diversity of thought and inclusion, and we need to really, really take it to the next level. Education program. So we do a lot of co-op, which is basically after a sophomore in college, you can then come in to many different of our departments, whether it's manufacturing, design, finance, whatever it is. And, you know, you go to school and you are able to work at the same time. So here again is the applied learning portion of it. And over the past 5 years, 36% of our co-op classes have been women. So we are getting better, but we still have a long way to go. And we've successfully hired 32%. So we have ongoing recruiting relationships, as many as you do. We try to take our co-ops out with us to all of the recruiting fairs that we have and have a deeper connection with the millennials and the youth of today so that they can see, hey, what is a career like? And we try to bring hands-on type of activities too so they can understand what do you really do with this job if you haven't done a co-op or an internship program.
How do we keep moving forward? Well, we have to act less like queen bees and more like coaches. A queen bee is a woman who may undermine or not do anything. Neither activity helps to foster equality in the workplace. A coach will bring out the better self of you. A coach reinforces and refines. The coach removes the obstacles and challenges limited thinking. To make sure we're clear, let me say that again. A queen bee, not queen bee, queen bee, may undermine or not do anything. Neither activity helps to foster equality in the workplace. A coach brings out your better self. A coach reinforces and refines. The coach removes the obstacles and challenges limited thinking. I attribute GS3's success to having women on our team. We've experienced 42% annual growth, and we are number 25 on Crain's top 25 largest women-owned business in Michigan, 2016.
And I thought about the things that made a difference in my career, and that's what I wanted to share with you today. And the first one is interesting because I asked a couple of my female mentors as I was preparing for this, what's the one thing that really you think made a difference in your career? And it was so funny because the first thing everybody said was very, very basic, and that's work hard, okay? And they all said that. They all said that we had to work really, really hard and have a very strong work ethic. It sounds a little Captain Obvious, doesn't it? But the reality is that when I got into the business, remember, I didn't have an automotive background. I knew nothing about the business. The only thing I had to offer was hard work. That's it. I had a work ethic and hard work to offer because I didn't know anything. And that's how I had to prove myself and prove that I had a seat at the table, is that I could hang with anybody all day long and all night long from a work ethic standpoint. And I think that's been a cornerstone in my whole career. People may question my decisions, they may question my judgment, but they've never been able to question my commitment to the company and my work ethic. And I think that's a real cornerstone. The next one, we've kind of heard this in some of the other ladies, is it never say no. You know, Nancy Reagan had a great saying, you know, just say no. And that may work for drugs, and I think it does. But it's terrible career advice, right? It's terrible career advice. And you really, really have to check yourself about saying no. And I would say never say no if you can't, but that's probably not realistic. And so what I would say is use your no card very selectively, okay, and very strategically. And I'll give you an illustration. There's a very, very talented young person down in our Dallas region, what we have been trying to promote. First time that we asked them for a promotion, and they didn't have to move. This was still within the Dallas region. They said, you know, I just built a house. I just don't think it's the right time. Second time we asked them for a very large promotion, they said, you know, we're thinking about starting a family. It's just not right the time. Now, those are valid reasons, right? And as women, those are things we deal with, right? We deal with starting a family and having homes and those kinds of things. So it's particularly relevant for us. The third time around, they said, I just don't think it's the right opportunity. So two things there. One is, did that person really use that no card strategically? Or did they overuse the card? All valid reasons, but in succession, I would say they put themselves at a disadvantage for that next opportunity. I remember really clearly the first time I said no. And that's when I also had my mentor, Jeff Dyke, who said, you don't understand. I don't remember asking. Thank goodness for that. The next thing goes hand in glove, which is do the things you don't think you can do and be very, very uncomfortable as much as you can. Sounds odd, doesn't it? I will tell you, all those assignments that I went to, and you saw that on the map, and this is true confession time, right? There wasn't a one of them that for the first 60, 90 days, I wasn't terrified and thought, what have I done? I have no business doing this. They made the biggest mistake and I made the biggest mistake. And the reality is that is very normal, okay? You don't have to fear that. It is so doggone normal. And it wasn't until very late in my career that I finally got my sea legs and stopped feeling so terrified about new opportunities. But you have to stretch yourself. And if you're making career decisions and they feel comfortable, I gotta ask you, are you stretching enough? Are you making the big enough decisions in order to progress? Because you should feel uncomfortable. And that's where the most career growth really comes from. I can remember my first opportunity out in the field. I'd spent so much time at corporate in AutoNation, it was now my time to go out in the field. And the first assignment I was given, I'm brand new to the field, I know nothing about operations. And my manager tells me that we've got 12 general managers in the field and 6 of them need to be fired, and I'm the person to do it. I'm thinking, man, isn't that your job? You know? But anyways, my instinct was, you know, this is really uncomfortable, right? These people don't know me, Adam. Best thing I ever did is going around and letting those people go. And by the way, they did deserve to go. But it did a couple things for me, right? One is that, do you think it gave me some credibility instantly? Do you think that people, when I called them or came to visit on them, listened a little bit more and knew that I was a force to be reckoned with and somebody that had authority? Absolutely. So it was very uncomfortable for me, but I did it. Now, unfortunately, I also got a nickname called the Angel of Death. and it still follows me today. I don't know why that is. So challenge yourself and do the things you don't think you can do. And don't get nervous about thinking you can't do it or being uncomfortable, because it's a very, very natural feeling. The next one is find a mentor. We've talked about it. We're all here because we want and we have and we need female mentors. So that goes without saying. It's such a blessing to have a mentor and somebody that's female that can appreciate you and what you think and how you think. But the reality is that, newsflash, I'm not a man, okay? I don't think like a man, like we talked about. I don't look like a man. I don't act like a man, and I don't want to, okay? But I am in a very male-dominated industry. Automotive retail is probably more male-dominated than the other parts of the automotive world. I need to know how men think, okay? But more importantly, I need to know how men perceive me. And a male mentor is essential in doing that. And Jeff Dyke has been my best friend in doing that. I can remember one time he and I sat down, and I had to counsel somebody, another man. And it was going to be a rough discussion. Okay, it was supposed to be a rough discussion. He said, Karen, I want you to role play with me how you're going to have this discussion. I said, okay. I'm going to sit down and say, Bob, I'm really disappointed in your behavior. He goes, oh, no, stop right now. He says, I feel like you're my mother, and you just told me that I can't drink milk out of the carton and to pour it in a glass. He's right. Who says I'm disappointed in your behavior? He said, kick his butt, tell him he's doing a lousy job and he needs to do a better job. He's right, okay? But early in my career, I was perceived as being maybe not tough enough. I was tough. I just didn't know the right mannerisms. I didn't know the right word choice. And having a male help me understand those things made all the world a difference. The last one I would say is results in relationships. We all know the people that can get the job done, right? They're the go-to people. We all know the people that everybody loves. Oh, that Sarah, we just love Sarah. You gotta be that person who has it both, and you gotta do both. You gotta be the person that gets the results, but develops and has productive, collaborative relationships. And one without the other will clearly limit your career beyond a shadow of a doubt.
A piece of advice I give all our young leaders is to accept challenges and not to wait until they think they're 100% ready for it. If you're willing to take responsibility for what you do, people will give you freedom to do much more. You can create your own room to play. Of course, it always helps to be curious, ask questions, and enjoy learning and exploring. As those of us in the room today know, the auto industry is a fun, challenging, and exciting field, and will be even more so in the connected world of the future. Automotive is an integral part of this connected world, and so much more than just a form of transportation. Attracting, retaining, and nurturing diverse talent is crucial to keeping this industry at the forefront of innovation and transformation, and women are vital to that future. Being here today, sharing these experiences with all of you, and talking about the best practices for attracting and retaining women for the automotive industry is an honor, and I'm grateful for this opportunity. Thank you.
For the complete list of 100 leading women in the automotive industry, visit autonews.com. Reporting from inside the Henry Hotel in Dearborn, I'm Jason Rzucidlo for AmericaJR.com.